If you can hear me clearly, please leave a yes in the chat. I just need to know that you can hear me clearly. So if you can hear me clearly, please leave a yes in the chat. So I've got a couple of people on the call, and I'd like to know if you can all hear me. So please go ahead to leave a yes in the chat if you can hear me. So I know. All right. Thank you so much, Mobolaji. So hi everybody. Welcome again to the Analytics master class. So it's a pleasure to have you join us. We usually have sessions like this on a monthly basis to more like onboard you into tech, give you some sort of onboarding into tech. And my name is Priscilla, and I'll be your host for today. It's going to be a really practical session, and you'll enjoy every bit of it today. But before we delve into it, I'd like to meet everybody on the call. So well, not so much, and that just gives us enough time to more like meet everybody on the call, get to know you as well. So if you can hear me, I think I've got Ayomide, I've got Desiree, I've got Gladys, Juliet's iPhone, and yeah, so just leave your name in the chat and where you are joining us from. So if you can hear me, please go ahead, leave your name in the chat and where you are joining us from. Meanwhile, there's some instruction in the chat regarding, your audio, connecting your audio so you can hear me properly. So if you're struggling to hear me and all of that, please just follow the instruction in the chat. So I can see Juliet from UK. You're very much welcome. Okay, so who else? I can see a couple of other people. Please just leave your name in the chat and where you are joining us from. So Juliet, thank you so much for joining us today. All right. So that we don't take so much of our time, Ayomide from UK, you're welcome as well. We're just going to kickstart it, right? I would start by, doing a brief introduction into Analytics and what we do here and what you should expect from today's session. Meanwhile, we know that today's session is strictly for HR professionals. So if you know somebody in HR, somebody aspiring to get into HR, please just do well to send them the link to this session so they can join in and then we can do some practical work together today. So I'll share my screen, do a brief introduction of who we are at Analytics and what we do. All right, so the moment you can see my screen, please just leave a yes in the chat, okay? Just let me know that you can see my screen the moment you can see it. So I know fully well that every single person on the call can see my screen. Okay, so I'm sharing right away. All right, thank you, Juliet. So today we'll basically be talking about how you can identify high potential employee with Power BI as a strategic HR partner. The key word there is strategic, right? So if you are a HR partner already, if you're an HR professional, please leave a 1 in the chat. This is your session. If you're an HR professional, leave a 1 in the chat, okay? So Ayomide, you're very welcome to today's session. So today you will learn how you can become a strategic HR professional. Just look out for the word strategic. Is it just Ayomide that is a HR professional? Do we mean every other person is maybe from another tech space or looking to get into HR analytics? Please just leave a 0 in the chat if you're looking to transition into HR analytics, okay? I know that Ayomide is already in HR, and I mean, she's already in HR, okay? So if there's any other person in the code that is already in HR, please leave a 1 in the chat. If you're aspiring to be a HR professional, leave a 0, okay? So it's supposed to be a very interactive session. So you speak to me via chat while I speak to you with my mic unmuted. All right, so let's just keep it going while I wait for your responses here in the chat. Like I said, if you know somebody that should be here, please do well to send them the link to this session. And as the topic suggests, it's going to be really practical today. Every single thing we'll be doing today is just going to be practical. Okay, so we'll see how you, as an HR professional, can become the strategic, human resources partner in any organization, helping them meet their business goals instead of you just stuck at doing administrative duties and all of that. We'll literally see how you can contribute to meeting the goals of an organization. So, who's bringing this session to you? Who are we at Analytics, and what do we do? So at Analytics, we're an educational technology company. If you know what ed techs do, they more like bring education to your doorstep. So that is one thing we do here at Analytics. We are a leading educational technology company, and we're focused on providing everybody on this call with specialized training in various technology skills. Now, tech is really, really broad, and there are a lot of career paths in tech. So what we do is just to focus on some set of skills in tech, and then we are teaching you. We're more like providing you with comprehensive data consulting services so that you'll be able to transition into your desired role. We've been doing this for 5 years now, almost 5 years. And so far, we've been able to help over 2,855 plus people transition from the classroom into their first job in tech. Yes, you heard me right. They got into our program. They started with us without prior experience. So if you're here, you don't have prior experience, you don't know what it means to be an HR partner, not even an HR and analytics professional, you are definitely in the right place. Because just the same way we helped over 2,000 people transition from the classroom into their first job in tech, that is what we'll be helping you with as well. So basically, we're committed to making the technology sector more accessible. We provide experiential training in data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, which is the reason why you're here today. So we're more like dealing on HR analytics today. And the way we've been able to teach is to ensure that we have big brains that have literally walked the talk. So people that have experience across these training programs, they're coming back in class to teach you from their experience. So they bring a wealth of real world experience, and they are dedicated to delivering an engaging, practical and learning experience so that you get value from your investment, because getting started with us is basically an investment in your future. All right. So like I said, today's session is going to be really practical. And here is our professional that will be taking us through the practical bits for today. So we have Mark, so Mark is a data professional, and he's got over a decade of experience in data analytics and business intelligence. I know you might be wondering, this is supposed to be a HR analytics session. So Mark has data analytics experience. How come? You know that basically a HR analyst is just a data analyst that is focused on people data. So it's basically going to walk you through the nitty-gritty of how you, as a HR professional without any experience using data and all of that, can become somebody strategic, somebody that has gone beyond doing the administrative and boring, HR functions. So Mark is gotten over a decade years of experience, and they include training individuals in data analytics and helping many people transition into tech careers. He's also led data-driven projects in sectors such as finance, retail, health, and edutech, right? So as a seasoned business and data analyst, Mark combines analytical skills with storytelling, helping businesses make smarter data-backed decisions. He has a passion for teaching, dashboard designing, and real-world problem solving. And all of these skills are what have set him apart as a mentor and a professional. Okay, so in a couple of minutes, you get to interact with Mark as well. Then my humble self here. So I'm Priscilla, like I earlier mentioned. And what do I do basically? Literally, I'm a passionate educator, data expert, and career strategist with close to half a decade years of experience in the world of blockchain technology and data analytics. So currently, I'm a growth catalyst at Analytics. analytics. And you know what I do? I help people, make decisions regarding what tech career path suits them. People that always worry about, oh, if I need to get into tech, do I need to go back to school? Or what tech career program will fit me? I did not study anything relating to sciences, mathematics, or computer. Can I still get into tech? So I literally take a look at their background, and then we're able to decide on which tech program best suits them. So my expertise spans across being a freelance data analyst, a crypto educator, a technical support personnel, as well as a tech career coach. Okay. So I've been in the tech space for quite a while. And over the years, I've helped onboard over 500 individuals into the tech program. Okay, so you can basically connect with me via LinkedIn, Twitter or Instagram. Right. So why are we here today? So right there in the chat, I'm sure you must have seen some sort of attendance form that my colleague has been sharing. And this is just to ensure that regardless of what you're doing in today's session, you're able to get access to the recording and the slide that we'll be using for this session today. So just please take out a minute to fill the feedback form. We're going to be doing practicals, okay? So we're going to be working with a data set. We're going to be working with a case study. And say afterwards you need to get access to this. That is why you need to fill the attendance form. So while we're here today, what would we be doing today? The first thing we get to do is basically understand why HR analytics. Why should you be interested in HR analytics? And then we also get to understand who a strategic HR professional is. So a traditional HR professional is very different from a strategic HR professional. So you're going to see how different they are today. Then the second thing we'll be doing is we'll take a look at the case study. Remember the topic for today, identifying high potential employee. So we'll take a look at this case study, and we're going to be doing this case study as HR professionals and seeing how we can become strategic in an organization. Thereafter, we move to how you yourself. So if you're on this call and then you're looking to transition into HR, or you're already an HR professional, you're just looking for ways to become more strategic, we'll also show you how you can become a strategic HR partner. And lastly, we'll take a look at success stories of people that have, gotten into our HR programs, how they were able to transition seamlessly and get really good jobs. And thereafter, I'll be talking about our special discount offer to you. So you've decided to dedicate the next 1 hour, 1 hour 30 to this session. There should be something in it for you, right? So this is where the discounted offer comes in. So right at this point, I'm going to let my colleague take us through the practical bits, and is going to literally open up his Power BI, take us through the case study, and you get to see how you can become a strategic HR professional. Thereafter, I'll come back and literally talk you through the skills you need to learn and how you can get started with Tenalytics. So at this point, Mark is going to take over from me. Hi, Mark. Can you hear me? Hi, Mark. If you're speaking, you're still muted. Okay, give me a minute. I think I need to enable
Hi,
the...
Priscilla. How you doing? Thank you
Yeah,
so
very...
much.
Can you hear me?
Hope you are. Yeah, I can hear you clearly, Priscilla.
Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. If you are on the same time zone as I am, or if you are on different time zone, well, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Mark Olafaye, as my colleague has Julia mentioned. So I'm going to be running you through a case study that is designed for HR professionals. Essentially, we are going to be trying to see how we can highlight high-performing employees in our organization. And this organization is called Aquatech. They've contacted us as human resource analysts, or we work as a human resource analyst at Aquatech. And we're trying to position some employees for strategic positions in the organization. So it's very important for us to be able to identify these employees by virtue of the tenure they've spent in our organization, their performance, their feedback ratings, their performance ratings, their performance scores, and all of those metrics. And we're going to be using Power BI to be able to put life into these data sets. So let's let's go on a ride. I'm going to share my screen shortly for you to see what we have. Okay. All right. So, like I said earlier, we're going to be helping Alpha Tech HR to develop a succession planning strategy. We want to be able to identify employees with highest the potential for leadership roles across different departments. Therefore, we are going to leverage HR analytics tools and techniques to support data-driven decision making aimed at improving employee retention, optimizing recruitment strategies, and we're also going to be enhancing workforce productivity. And that's what we're going to be doing via this project is to align HR initiatives with Alpha Tech organization goal. Before I proceed, how many of you are conversant with Power BI? Maybe you use Power BI as a tool somehow. Can you just give me one in the chat box? Let me be sure. You've used the Power BI at a point. Just type in one in the chat box. Okay. All right. I've not heard of Power BI. This is the first time I'm encountering Power BI. I don't even know what it looks like. Just type zero in the chat box. Yeah. Let's type zero so I'll be able to be sure. All right. So a couple of us have not had interaction with Power BI. Well, no issues. You are in safe hands. Like I said, Power BI is one visualization tool that actually brings, I call it, gives life to data, right? Kind of speaks more about data. Even when you have data sets jam-packed, but when you get to Power BI kind of give you visibility and you're able to see what is actually happening with the data. All right. So what are the things we intend to achieve, right? The aims of the project. We want to identify high potential employees. We're going to be analyzing performance, their engagement, learning participation, and also their promotion history to flag potential future leaders. What we are trying to see is anybody that has been promoted or has a tendency for more promotion. We're also going to be building a reliable talent pipeline for key leadership roles across all departments, while we use data insights to optimize team structures, skill development, and also resource allocation. We're also going to be improving employee retention via what we're going to be doing this evening by analyzing the turnover patterns and also risk factors to design proactive retention strategies. And finally, we'll be optimizing the recruitment strategies. We want to be able to see the hiring funnel metrics, things like hire, times to hire, and of course, the quality of hire. The people that we're onboarding into the organization, are they delivering for us? Are they having impact on the business? So that's the thing. Those are the things we are going to be looking at in today's section. Please give me a minute. All right. I want to join my other device. All right. Beautiful. So let's look at some of the project scope. We're going to be looking at consolidating the HR data for performance rating. We're going to be looking at the learning and development records, promotion and tenure history, employee engagement, and of course, the feedback scores. Feedback scores are very important for employees. We want to be able to see what are the people saying about our employee. Then we're going to be building our dashboard using Power BI. For one visualization, I expect that we should see is the talent is my promotion trends and IPO. Can somebody, of course, you remember what the HIPO means, right? In case you missed out what the HIPO means, high potential employees. So whenever you see HIPO, you know that we're talking about high potential employees. So this one of the reasons why we ask you to sign up or fill the attendance form so that you can have access to this material that I'm going to be using. So please ensure that you fill the attendance so that you'll be able to get access to this material. For example, this is the data set I'm going to be working with. All I need to do is click on this link here, and it takes me directly to where the data set is stored. If you don't have access to this material, you will not be able to get access to this data also. So I have the data set already in my system so that I don't have to waste so much time. So I'm going to get the data set. I have it on my system. I'll just proceed to import it. So let's go to Power BI. Let me do a quick feedback. Now let's look at something about Power BI. Remember, it's a business intelligence tool, right? It enables users to connect, transform, and analyze and visualize your data from multiple sources in an interactive and insightful way. What that means is that Power BI, you can actually do a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, you can connect data to multiple sources, Excel. In case you had of course, I'm sure most of us are competent with Excel, right? But there are also online platforms. They have the Google Sheets. Sometimes you might have to get your data from the Google Sheet. You might have to store your data on Google Sheets so that it's easier to integrate into the Power BI because of other users. If you are the HR, maybe there is, you are the HR person, you have to collect the data set. If you, one of the ways to get it where it doesn't have to necessarily be on your local drive is through Google Sheets. You can also have cloud platforms where SQL database and a couple of other online platforms where you can store your data, right? But for the purpose of this class, I'm saving the data set in on Google Sheets, and I just need to download it and just install it because it's a one-off thing. If it is continual, it means that you have to link your Power BI directly to the Google Sheet. But now I'm just using a one-off analysis, right? So one of the things about Power BI, it allows businesses to create real-time dashboard and report for data-driven decision making. And also with Power BI, you can integrate live data sources, meaning as things are happening, you can actually do real-time updates. You can automate your reporting. You don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over, right? Processes are already in place. You have to just like more like plug and play, just refresh, and the new data that has been added automatically reflect in your dashboard. And of course, be able to uncover trends through our charts, the graphs, and the KPIs. Okay, so I just have to do a quick background to what Power BI looks like. So let me just go back to my Power BI. All right, so um, sorry guys. All right, so I'm just going to go to my Power BI. Now, this is what we are going to be building, right? This is what we are going to be building. We have like a demo of what we are building here. So it's easier for us to see what we have. As you can see, this is the performance dashboard that we're going to be replicating in this section. It contains the information about the employees, the average of their age, the average tenure, the average performance, average manager's feedback, and of course, the average of the employment rating. We're also going to be looking at the number of employees by the ratings. How many employees actually had a 1 rating, a 2 rating, 3, 4, 5. We're also going to be looking at the count of employee ID by high potential employees. So we've been able to identify, we're going to identify who are the high potential employee. We're also going to be looking at promotion rate according to department. One of the things we're interested in is looking at the department, which department actually turns out like they do, we promote them to have more leadership capabilities, right? And we're also going to be looking at the number of employees by the promotion count. How many employees can we say we've been able to promote like over the last that has had like one promotion, two promotions over the time they've spent with us at Alpha Tech. And also we're going to be looking at employees by the L&D. I think I mentioned what L&D is earlier. So let me just go back to this so that in case you missed that. So let me go back to my slide. So you're wondering, so in case you missed what the L&D is, okay. All right, the learning and development analytics, right? We want to be able to measure training effectiveness. The training that we currently carry out at Alpha Tech, how effective are the training to the employees? All right, so let's just go back to our Power BI. All right, so like I said, these are the things we are going to be doing. And trust me, we are going to be doing it together. So it's pretty simple. Watch what I do. And of course, by the time you get the material and you go over the recording, again, one of the reasons why you should fill the attendance so you can have access to this recording, of course, the material that we use for this whole process. So let me go to my Power BI. Again, remember, I'm not going to be duplicating what I have here. Right, so this is my Power BI interface. This is what you see when you open your Power BI. Okay, let me just close this. Now, this is a plain canvas. We call this a Canva. This is where we're going to be building our design from scratch. This is where we're going to be building everything that you saw in that visual. The first thing I need to do is to get access, I need to import my data, right? I need to import my, how do we do that? So I'm going to go to get data, right? I'm going to go to get data. Then it's that we, like I said earlier, Power BI has different data sources: Excel, data flows, SQL Server, web. You can connect to the web. But for the purpose of this presentation, we're using an Excel workbook. So I'm just going to click on Excel workbook, and it's going to take me directly to my local drive where I save the workbook. Yeah, I think I have it on my downloads. So let me just open this all files. So this is the data set that I have. This is the data set. So I'm just going to open. And it's going to take me to what we call a Power Query, right? Where I can actually edit data, clean my data. I'm not going to be doing the cleaning on this call because of the time frame, but I'm just, one of the things you do in your Power Query is to make sure that the data is, this data we're going to be working with is clean already. So I'm not going to do any cleaning, but it takes me to a Power Query. So when I click on transform data, it takes me to a Power Query. I'm going to clean my data, right? Where I have, in case I have null values, that's blanks. I have I need to optimize the text, maybe the wrong spellings here and there, and I want to be able to, I want to be sure that I'm using the right spellings. I want to be able to use the right casing, the right data type. Where I'm supposed to use numeric, I'm not using text. You need to take it to the Power Query, right? But so I have my data cleaned already, so I'm not going to transform. I'm just going to load. Okay, so I'm just going to load. This depends on how large the data set that you're working with. That will determine how quick this is going to come up. Okay, so it's just loading. Again, Power BI is just an amazing tool. One of the reasons why it's exciting is that retinue of visuals that you can pick from, like you have options, and you have the drag and drop function, meaning you can just drag the data or the column you are trying to analyze into a particular visual, and it displays what it is that you want to see. You don't necessarily have to start creating the charts by yourself. Power BI has that capability to do something as beautiful as that. Okay, so this is the data set. This is my table. This is called table. I'll just rename this my table. Let me rename this my table. Let me name this as data set. Okay, data set. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the first thing I want to do, now if you check this out, let me go to this place called the table. You can have a quick peek, sneak peek of everything that's happening in this data. Okay, so I think, can you see, this is the employee ID. This is like a unique identifier for all of the employees. This is their department, their age, number of years they've spent so far, their performance rating, the L&D hours, learning hours, promotion count, how many times have they been promoted? As you can see, this is 0, meaning this person hasn't been promoted. The engagement score, then there is a management feedback score, then we have a performance rating, then we have a performance rating for 2024. Then we have an average rating. Permit me to, I think I want to use a different data. Please hold on. Let me go back to my own. Let me get a different data. This one is a clean data. I want to use, this one is a raw data. I want to use the one that has been cleaned. I think on a document. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let me be sure it's this one. All right, let me just go back to the data, the file that we had earlier, so that I'm using the same thing with what you are going to have. I don't want to use I don't want to use the clean one. Let me just go to this place and download the data set. All right, so let me download the data set from here. All right, so from here, I can just download the data set file. The same way you are going to do this, so go to downloads, then as Excel. So it just comes into your system directly. All right, I think I have it already. All right, so I have it now. So I can go back to my Power BI and just continue from there. All right. Okay, so yeah, let me come to this place. So get data again to the Excel workbook, the one I just downloaded. Go to my downloads. This is it here, employee data, then open. All right, so it's coming up. You have a navigator showing you the data sets you're working with. This gives you more like an insight to be sure that you have the exact data set. So this is it, so it's correct. I'm good to go. Then I'm just going to confirm this. Just confirm from here. Then I'm going to load. Okay. So it's loading. All right. So yeah, here's the data set. So I need to just rename this one as, let me delete this other one. I don't want to use this other one. So let me delete. Delete from model. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. So I'm going to rename this one as data set. Data set. All right, beautiful. So the first thing we want to do is to get the total number of employees. We want to get total number of employees that we have in this organization. Like I said, Power BI is more like a drag and drop function. So I'm just going to open this. I'm going to use this particular visual called a card. It's called a card. So I'm just going to click on this visual I want. Then I'm going to go to my employee ID and just tick it. Now it's going to show me first employee ID, right? This should show me first, but this is not what I want. I want to see the total employees. So I'm just going to come to this place, then change this one to count. So I have 500 employees. Pretty simple, straightforward. So I have 500 employees. So let's see the next thing we want to do. We want to also see the average performance. We want to see the performance rating, average performance rating. Now, if you check here, like we said earlier, we have performance rating. We want to see the average of all of our employees. What's the average? So I'm just going to use a card also. Let me copy this so that I'll have to use the same site. I can just copy this. Control C, then Control V, right? Then I'm just going to, now in this case, I don't want employee ID anymore. I want to see performance rating. So I'm just going to pick it and to give me, it's showing me sum of performance rating. I don't want the sum, I want the average. What I need to go to my field is change my fields to average, change my fields to average. Okay, so the average performance rating across all employees, 3.13. This is not really, really good for a business, of course, meaning that most of our staff, like, we don't have high performing employees across board. Okay, so the next thing I want to see average tenure in years. What is the average number of years people have spent in this company? What's the average number of years? So I'm going to use a card also. I can just copy this, Control C and Control V, which we are all conversant with. Now, instead of using my average performance, I'm just going to remove this and replace it with tenure, okay? Now, I'm going to change this one to average, dealing with data like this. Most times, excuse me, it's best to use average. Some of you can't do some of tenure. It's not possible for you to say you want to add to their tenure. So the most sensible way, remember that data is relative. You are communicating something to your stakeholders, to the audience. So it doesn't even make sense when you say you want to see the total number of years for everybody. So so I want to see the average number of years. That gives you an idea of how long our employees have spent in at our organization. So average of tenure is 8, meaning that on an average, individuals have spent 8 years in this company. Something I want to see is, let's say, performance rating. If we've done performance rating, let us engagement score. Let us see our demo. Let's see what we have in the other one, okay, so that we are on track. We have the count of employee, the average age, average tenure, average performance. Okay, so we can do the average age. What is age distribution of our employees? So let's go to the one we are building. So we are doing the average age. So we're still going to use the card, Control C and V. I can just copy and paste. Then instead of using tenure, in this case, I'm going to use the age, right? Where's their age again? This is age. So once you see, this is also showing some, right? It doesn't, like I said, that doesn't make data, this doesn't make data sense. So I'm changing this to average. What I'm doing is opening this drop down, changing this to average. Okay, so the average age in this company is 40.43. Well, meaning that on an average, they are like, we don't have younger people in this company. Well, we have like the older guys, the mid-age guys are more in this company. One more thing we could add is that let's see. So we also want to see the we've done number of employees, the average age, the average tenure, average performance, the feedback form, and the average of engagement. Okay, so we want to see the average engagement and the feedback. Same thing we need to do. We can adjust this. We can adjust all of this so that we can have more space. We're going to format it later so that it looks exactly like what you saw earlier. But for now, let's just bring out our key. These things are called like your key performance indicator. These are the basic indicators that you are trying to track. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and just paste. Then I'll probably reduce this. So we need to know the average engagement score. So I'm going to take away this, bring my engagement score, and change this, of course, to average, right? Then finally, we want to see management feedback. What's the management feedback like based on management score for each employee? What's the average score that the management has written, has given all our employees? So I'm just going to arrange this properly. Okay, so let me reduce this. Then let me copy this and just paste it somewhere. So I'm going to change this one from average tenure years and replace it with average management feedback score. So this is some, of course, are changing from some again to average. Now, if you notice that the only one we use count is employee ID because we want to see the number. Every other one comes with average. At times, we might want to use some, want to get the total transactions and all of that. But for what we are looking at, average is the only one that actually makes sense. Now, I want to reduce the size of all of this thing. They're looking too big. I want to reduce the size. Okay, so first thing I need to change is these values there, the call out value. It's called call out value. So I'm going to go to my format of visual, then go to my call out value. Now look at this call out value. Let me use size, let's say 23. Can you having all of them as reduced to 23? Then I can reduce the height of all of these. I can reduce the height. Okay, can reduce the size of this. Okay, I think I've done this. Yeah. Then I can also reduce this. So we have all of our KPIs in place. Ideally, the next time we'll make sure these are all properly aligned. But because we are trying to just give us an idea, think big of what you expect when you use Power BI. I'm not going to focus on this. The next thing I want to do is we'll be able to see number of employees based on each department. How many employees we have across departments? So I'm going to use what we call a clustered column chart. Okay, I'm just going to pick my clustered column chart. Okay, so I have it here. Then what are the things I want to check now? I don't want this. This is what I want. Okay, good. I want to see number of employees by department. I'm just going to see department and employee ID. Can you see what it does? It's going to arrange it for me. So let me move this away. Now for my x-axis, I have department. Then my value is employee ID. Okay, then count. Can you see what it has done for me? That show me how many employees I have across all the departments. Okay, so I want to see how many employees by department. The next thing I want to probably see is that, so what's the engagement score like, or what's the engagement score like across department? There's something I want to bring on. Let me show you something that we're going to do quickly. We see here we have, this is count of employee by performance rate. We want to also see how many, how many employees actually have a rating of 3, how many employees have a rating of 5. We want to be able to see which among of our employees, what's their average rating like? What's the rating like for our employees? So I'm going to do count of employee by performance rating. So I'm going to bring on board the same one. I can use the same thing, my clustered column chart. Okay. So I want to do employee ID. Then I'm sorry. Yeah, employee ID, that's the count. Bring it to my y-axis here. Remember I said Power BI is more like drag and drop. Drag and you drop it wherever you want it to be. Then we are looking at let's see, that's the department. No, we're looking at, let me see again. Okay, performance rating. We're looking at the performance rating. Performance rating. So let's go to our performance rating. Now we're bringing back this our performance rating to the count of employee. So we're moving this. Our performance rating is supposed to be in text. It's not supposed to be in value. So let's just move this one. Yeah, performance rating. So we have it. So we have individuals, number of employees that had a 1 rating. We have about, if you move around, it's going to show you have 41 employees had a rating of 1. We had about 60 employees have a rating of 5. We have about 168 employees have a rating of 3. What you can see for me is that most of our employees have a rating of 3, then followed by the 4. The list is 1. Most of our employees, we don't have many of our employees with 1 rating, but you can see from here that most of the employees are really not doing so well. That's why you have a rating of 3. About 168 of our total 500 employees have like a rating of 3. Okay, so another thing we could add is the department and the be able to see performance according to departments. Okay, so let's see what we have. All right, so once you see promotion rates by department, before we come to promotion rate by department, we need to look at some things. We need to get the average tenure of, I want to get the average tenure of our high performing employees. We want to get the average tenure of our high performing employees. I have to do this so that we don't have to start scrambling around to write the formula. This thing we saw here is what we call DAX function. It's more like a function, more like formulas in Excel. If you're used to Excel, this is more like formula. So what we do is that essentially trying to write a formula showing us the average tenure of our high performing employees. So let's go back to our dashboard. All right, so how do I create what I just did? What I just need to do is go to my data set here, right? Then click on new measure. I'm going to go to new measure. Remember, if I clicked on it, it's going to bring me the option of what I want to calculate, right? I want to calculate the what? Performance rating. I want to calculate my potential employees. So let's say I potential employees, the high potential employees. Now, what are the metrics to track my high potential employees? The first one I want to use is I want to see any employer or employee that has a performance rating that is above 4. Now, the things I want to use to judge an employee as a high performing employee, right? The first thing is that employee has a performance rating that is above 4. Second is that the employee has a engagement score that is greater than or equal to 7, and also their promotion count, they promoted more than once. Let me show you what I mean. Let me go back to this list. I have to just hold on. I'll come back to this. Let me go back to my table here. Now, what I want to see is this. First things first, I want to see an employer that the performance rating is greater than or equal to 4. That's either you have an employee rating of a performance rating of 4 or above. If you have an engagement score that is greater than or equal to 7, right? And also the promotion count, you must have been promoted more than once. That's how I can say, oh, this person is an high performing employee. Now, let me put those 3 things that I just said. Let me put this into formula. So this is my formula I was trying to create earlier. Now I'm going to use 2 functions. I'm going to say, if, now it's going to ask me what are the conditions that you want to achieve. Remember I said the first thing is that my performance rating should be greater than 4. I'm going to say if performance is going to bring it out. Okay, so let me use a column in this case rather than the table. So I want to be able to add this. What I want to do is this. I want to add it for each row. I want to add it for each employee. So rather than use the measure, let me add it as a column. So I'm going to say new column, right? New column instead of a new measure. So let's use the new column. So I'm going to call this high performing employee, high potential or performing employee as the case may be. So I'm going to say equal to if my performance now is going to pop up. So let me just scroll. Can you see performance rating now is what? Greater than or equal to 4. That's the first condition. If it's greater than or equal to 4, then I'm going to combine using the amper sign. That's the first condition. The second condition again, if it is also, in this case, we're looking at the engagement score now. If the engagement score is also greater than or equal to 7, meaning from 7 and above, then the third condition, I'm also going to take the promotion count. Promotion counts. Can you see it's going to pop up by itself? If the promotion count is greater than 1 or equal to 1, maybe either you've been promoted before, meaning that before we can call you a high-performing employee, you must have met all of these conditions, right? If you meet all of these conditions, then I'm going to say, yes, you are an high-performing employee. Otherwise, I'm just going to say, no, I'm not. So I'm going to say, yes, yes. Then, if it's not yes, obviously it will be what? It will be no. Meaning, if you don't meet any of all of these criteria, remember, all of these criteria must be met. If you don't meet any of these criteria, then you are not a high potential employee. So I'm just going to click on enter. Now, I'm going to show you something quickly. Let's go back to our table. See the magic behind this. If you see this, look at this person here. Performance rating is 3. Automatically, is not an high potential employee. Let's look at the guys with yes. Let's look at the guys with yes and let us cross-check their data. Let's confirm. First of all, this person has a performance rating that is above 4. Check. Promotion count greater than 1. Check. Engagement score 7 or above. Check. What is the status of this employee? Yes. So we can declare, we can also declare that yes, this employee is a high potential employee. Now that we have done that, let me move this filter. Let me clear the filter, clear all filters. Good. Now let me go back to my data set. So what I want to do next is I want to be able to see a average tenure of performing employee, right? So I'm going to come back here and use my let me use this my cluster chart also. Now I'm going to bring my high performing employees there, only the guys that have this. So I'm going to write a new formula and say, you know what, I want to be able to see all the employees that have years. I want to be able to isolate all the employees that gave me years when I wrote the formula earlier. So I'm going to write a formula and say average tenure of high performing employees. Okay, let's write a new measure. Let's write a new measure and call it. This one is going to be called average tenure of my A. I think we already said this high performing employee. Let me just call it O. All right, so after I get the average tenure, what I'm going to say is that don't really get the value if this particular formula that we wrote or this particular measure is actually giving us yes. Remember, we had yes and no. So once we're able to filter out the guys that are yes and once we extract the ones that are no. So we're going to, it's pretty simple. We're going to say calculate, right? Is actually what you want to calculate. How to calculate the average. Now, what the Power BI is, the way it's more like you talking to your system, talking to your computer, more like an English conversation. Calculate the word. I want you to calculate the average of my tenure year, what I just calculated. Okay, I need to calculate my average tenure years. Hold on, guys. So let me do something quickly. Okay, so my tenure year. Okay, yeah, I have it already. So I want to calculate the average of the tenure years, right? Where one, is that mean that we want to calculate the average, there is a condition, we are attaching a condition to it, and the condition is pretty straightforward. When my high potential employee is giving me yes, where my high potential employee is giving me yes, that's the only people I want to calculate. That's the only people I want to calculate. So I'm just going to say comma. And that's saying you want the condition again, where my average, okay, high potential employee. Can you see with my potential employee is what? Equals to yes. Okay, equals to yes. I don't know if that makes sense. Where my high potential employee equals to yes, that's what I want to say. So meaning that anybody that has no does not fall, will not be not, we're not going to be using this analysis for it. Now you might be wondering that this looks a bit, yeah, of course, in Power BI, you want to do calculations, right? So that you can actually do be able to give exact information on what you're trying to achieve. So average tenure of high performance. So we're saying calculate the what average tenure of years for which people for guys that their high potential employees actually equal to yes. So I'm just going to press enter and now I'm going to use it again. So let me close this. Okay, so I think I made a mistake here. Okay, yeah. All right. So we're going to use this in our data set now. Okay. So we have that already. So the next thing we want to look at, we're going to bring it on, but let's also see the other things we have. Let me see. So we have our count of employee by high potential. So what we're looking at is how many of our employees actually have yes and no. So let's go back to our dashboard. So we're going to use a pie chart to indicate that. So let's use a pie chart. This is a pie chart. We have a donut chart, we have a pie chart. You can choose any one of your choice. So let me use the donut chart. Now I'm going to use my high potential employees, the column I created earlier. Okay. Now I have can you see I have the ones with yes, I have the ones with no. Based on what? Based on the number of employees. That's what I want to see. Based on number of employees. So let me just drag my employees to values. So it's going to be count. Can you see now? So I have 27 employees. Only 27 employees are high potential employees. That's 5.4%, right? Based on my total employees, right? So of all the employees I have, of all the 500 employees I have, only 27 of them high potential employees, while the others are not. Of course, the metrics that we set for them were pretty high. Okay, so let's add one more thing to our dashboard. Let's add one more thing to our dashboard. So we also want to add promotion rate by department. Promotion rate by department. We want to see how many people in each department were actually promoted. Meaning, I want to see people that had promotion above 1, right, or above 0. So let's write a quick measure, right? Let's write a quick formula to achieve that. Okay, then we're going because we need to get the promotion rate. So we're going to say, so we're going to call this promotion rate by department. Promotion rates by department and percentage. Okay, so how do we calculate this? We're going to simply divide the total employees by the guys that have promotion greater than 0. Remember, we have promotion, so there are some guys that their promotion rate is 0. So we're looking at it and say those that have a promotion count above 0, these are the guys we are approaching. So we're going to say divide. Oh, I went to write equals to twice. So divide. Then I'm going to do what? Calculate. I need to do a calculation. Okay, I didn't put equals to here. All right, so divide, then calculate what? I first want to count total number of rows, employees that have promotion greater than 0. So I'm going to say count rows of my employee, where the promotion count. Let's see promotion counts. Okay. This is the table that we're counting, where the promotion count is what? Greater than 0. That's anybody that the promotion count is greater than 0. Those are the guys that we're interested in. Calculate the, so when we do the count, we have to say, you know what? Go into the data set and count all of the rows, one after the other, right? Where the promotion count is greater than 0. Okay, so we're doing a division, then we're dividing it by, we're also calculating those, we are calculating the entire, we want to calculate the entire data set, right? So we're just going to calculate the count rows. Count the entire. Remember, I said count rows is saying that count the entire row. So count rows of our data. So what I'm simply doing is this: divide the count rows where the promotion count is greater than 0 by what? The count rows of the data. So we're simply doing is just like saying count the entire data set, which is 500. Those are their own greater than 0. How many are they? So we are trying to achieve with this so that we can actually use it to do this promotion rate by department. All right, that's why we have done that. Then we can just close this. Sorry, just a minute, please. I'm trying to turn off the other device. All right. Then since one is in percentage times 100. All right, so we have this. But we are doing it on the wrong data set. Let me copy this. I want to do it in the wrong place. All right, so this is what we want to calculate this. So let's say Come, let me rename this. Rename as data. Okay. Beautiful. So let me add the measure now. So new measure. Remember that when you want to create a formula, like a formula in Power BI, you create a new measure. When you want to add a column, an extra column, you use add column. So I'm not going to paste what I have earlier. Promotion rate by department. So divide the count rows of data by promotion. When the promotion count is greater than 0, then also divide it by what? By the entire data set, then multiply by 100. So let's have this. So our promotion rate in percentage, so good. I think there is an error somewhere. Okay, let me see what I have here. I think I wrote it here again. All right, so okay, so let me just edit this. Let me see where the error is coming from. All right, so we have the calculate the count rows where the promotion count is greater than 0, then divide by 100. All right, now what we're doing is, so let's use it now. Now we're going to create, remember we want to look at departments based on their promotion rates. Okay, so let's use our, we're going to use a stack bar chart in this case. Let's use a clustered bar chart. This is a clustered bar chart. We are going to have the departments and their promotion rates. Okay, and we have it. I think we should use this. Let's use this other one that we used before. Now, what you can see here is that in operation, the promotion rate is for about let's over around this, about 45.16%. In finance, 43.96%. Meaning out of every 10 person in HR, 4 of them have been promoted. Now, what can you deduct from this place? What it means is that people that are in HR in operations have more tendency to be promoted. Do you all agree with that? Can I get the thumbs up if you agree with that? Based on what we have here, that people in operations have more tendency to be promoted. Now, with all of this said that we've done, how do we now make sense of this? First things first, as an HR personnel, as an HR analyst, the first thing you want to do is how many of my employees are actually high potential employees? From this has actually answered that you already have 5.4% of your employees as high potential employees, right? You also want to look at promotion rates. You can make a decision and say, okay, which department is actually more productive in this organization? You cannot agree with me that the operation department is more productive. Now, you're also looking at it that how many of our employees, how many employees we have in each department. Now, you can know that marketing department has more employees. Now, this is a question. The fact that we have more employees in marketing, excuse me, does that translate to them being promoted? Now, if you check the chain here, we don't even have marketing topping the list of people with promotion. But the department with public operations, they don't have most people there, but they have high promotion rate, meaning that there's something that they are doing right in the operation department, which the stakeholders need to look at and maybe more like say ask the people in the operation department and say, okay, you know what, what are they doing in the operations department? Can we do the same process? Can we try and integrate the same flow or what practices that they are getting right and use the same process across all of that department, right? And also you can actually look at performance rating state of our employees, and this is not good for the business. If most of our employees are not performing well, what we need to do is to actually go for training. As an HR personnel, it's now left for you to say, you know what, I need to now schedule trainings for my staff. I need to be able to know because they are not performing well and all of that. So this is just like a guide of one of the things you could actually do with Power BI. There is so much I would have loved to do, but I'm really behind time. But if you want to learn more with all of these things, then I think that's an avenue for you to be able to get grounded more in Power BI. Most of us do this when you get during the Power BI section, one of the Power BI classes, you're able to see more of these functions, utilize all of these tools. And trust me, it's something that is very, very productive. Over the years, I've been able to build so many dashboards for companies. I'm trying to monitor the state of the organization, track businesses using Power BI. And this is one of the beautiful things about Power BI. I'm not to continue with the other ones, but if it's like I said, if you are able to register, you have access to this material and be able to get other information. I'm just going to add to my dashboard and I'll call it a wrap. I want to add like a slide. I want to be able to filter down based on department. So I'm not going to add a slicer. This is called a slicer. I want to see information based on department. So I'm just going to change this. Sorry. So let me add what we call a slicer. Okay. Let me put a slicer. Why is this changing to a slicer? Um, all right. So let me bring a slicer and see what the slicer can do. So I want to add my department as a slicer. Okay, so let me put it here. Now look at this. Let me change this to tiles. I'm just going to change to slicer settings and change it to tiles. So let me expand this. You're wondering what does this one do, right? Now if I over on any of these, it's going to give me specific information for. Now, if I look at marketing, I want to see more information about only what is happening in marketing. If I click on it gives me information about marketing. They have more than 7 employees in marketing. The average performance in marketing is 3.10. Number of average tenure is 7.6. If I go to finance also, the have number of employees 91. So essentially, the slider gives you more information like about what is happening across board, right? So you can see that Power BI is something that is very, very interactive. Besides that, if I click on any of these, let's say I click on IT here, if we interact with everybody here, can you see? IT, showing the performance rating for IT, which is 3, showing me the number of high potential employees in IT. Now, it's very, very interactive, right? Meaning that one visual will actually be able to speak a lot about another visual. And it's something that you want to explore. On the final note, let me just go back to my slide. Now, data is only powerful when transformed into actionable insight. The thing is, right, with the right tools, the right mindset, and the right questions, we can actually turn complex data sets into meaningful decisions. And at the core of this successful data project is not just the analysis, but the story itself and the impact it drives. Now, if you want to keep telling better stories data, Power BI is your go-to guide. Thank you all for listening. I don't know if you have any question, please you can drop it in the chat box. We'll be able to attend to it as the session progresses. Thank you all for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for helping us see how a HR professional, can be strategic with data, how they can use data to generate insight that would help the company achieve their goals. So if anybody else enjoyed this session like I did, I took down some points, getting to see the average performance rating, showing the company, okay, this is the average performance rating across departments, 3.13. That would just mean that if there's anybody going above, say that the company is trying to increase salary, raise the pay of people, it's a no-brainer that they don't really have to make decision based off, oh, I think this person has been with us for long, let's increase their salary. So you can see how the HR role is just moving from being administrative, intuitive to being backed by data. So the company is trying to increase, pay, do some sort of salary restructuring, pay raises. And you just take a look at the average performance rating. This person is performing really well above the performance rating. It's a no-brainer that those are the people that you just want to increase their pay. If somebody is not performing really well, close to the average and all of that, you just know they need some form of training or something. So you can start to see how you as a HR professional that is managing the company's most valuable asset, which is the people, you start to see how you can start making strategic decisions based on the company's behalf, because every company has goals, they want to increase their revenue, they want to reduce cost of sale and all of that. And in a bid to do that, the people, they have goals. I mean, they have, strategies to help them increase revenue and all of that. And the people in charge of executing these strategies are literally the valuable assets in the company. So you need to make sure that the company has the best hand that there is at every point in time. The the employees are well engaged in the company. They're properly recruited. You're getting the best hand there is. They're properly onboarded. They're properly compensated and all of that. So this is, you start to see how, taking a look at that dashboard, one thing I also noticed was the average years spent. That was almost 8 years. You just know that as an HR professional, when somebody is getting to that point, maybe 8 years and above, you know that, okay, let's start trying to, see if we can get replacements, because at this time, this is when people leave the company. So you start to contribute to the company strategically. You're not just that person that is, oh, I need to take a leave and all of that. A new person joins the company. Oh, this is your email, this is your tool and all of that. The role has gone beyond that. So as an HR professional, you need to be thinking strategically. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mark. I'm just going to take over the presentation, basically show you why HR. Now, I know that for people looking to get into tech, one of the burning questions you have is, this career path that I'm about going to, is it one that would literally pay? Would I get a job? With the emergence of AI is going to take the jobs and all of that. Is this HR analytics career path still one that would help you meet your goals, and then one that you can also land a good job in? So that is why we're here, basically. So why HR analytics? So you know that we're an edtech company here at Analytics. And before we arrived at, we only offer 8 training programs. So before we arrived at these 8 training programs, we needed to do our analysis, because tech is broad. There are a lot of career path in tech and all of that. And then people find it hard transitioning into tech, because sometimes they hear, oh, my friend just got a job as a cybersecurity professional, I think I want to go into cybersecurity. They don't know if that job can be easily transitioned into, if that tech career path can be easily transitioned into, if it is something they can easily learn, and if it is something that will pay them. That is why here at Analytics, we've just streamlined our tech career program to only 8 career programs, and the HR analytics is one of it. Now, before we arrived at HR analytics, we did our analysis. So that was the first thing we did, our job board analysis. So with this, we were able to take a look at major job boards. You can see on my screen, we took a look at LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, and the likes. And what we were looking for were the roles that recruiters would most likely, want to fill up the most, right? The roles that recruiters want to fill up the most. And then we came at, okay, these 8 roles, they are in demand. Recruiters are looking to fill them up. But that was just our analysis from these job boards. We also needed to get a global view. So what we did was to, consult the Future of Jobs report. Now, according to the Future of Jobs report is a report made by the World Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum is just a conglomerate of business executives like your Jeff Bezos, Elon, and all of that. And what they do is to chart the course for the global economy, the career paths that will be in demand, and all of that. So we took a look at the global view. What are they saying? Is HR analytics amongst the career path that will continuously be in demand, or is it at a risk of fizzling out? We needed to make sure of that. Then after we got the global view, we did something called regional analysis. So at this point, we took a look at the global economies, UK, US, and Canada, the 3 major economies, to see our participants across these major economies, even our participants in other regions that are looking to get jobs in these economies. How easy would it be for them to get job? Now, across the UK, you find that the HR analytics program is amongst the eligible occupation for the skilled worker visa. This will mean that if you become an HR professional, there's a market for you in the UK. And then good thing, if you're looking for sponsorship, looking to apply for the skilled worker visa, all you need to do is just learn how to become an HR professional, get the skills that you need, and then look for a company that is willing to sponsor. Now we help with that by, I'll show you how we also help with that. So you look for a company that is willing to sponsor, they give you a COS, and you go ahead to, apply for your skilled worker visa. In the US as well, we took a look at the job titles with highest H-1B acceptance rate. And guess what? The HR professionals are part of them. In Canada, we looked at the provincial nominee programs, the priority streams majorly. Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC, Ontario, and the likes. So I've left the link to these reports here, both the one from the Future of Jobs, the one from the UK, gov.uk, that houses the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa, also the US, Canada. I've left the link here. So all you need to do is just fill the attendance form so that you get an access to this slide when this conversation is over, and you can take your time to go through, digest all the information that you will get. So this is what we've done to, help you realize that the HR analytics path is something that you should get into. Now, just to boost your confidence, right? You know that within now and in next couple of years, with the emergence of AI, a lot of jobs will be created while a lot of jobs will be lost. Now, you see this report right here on my screen. It was gotten from the Future of Jobs report, and what they have to say. Remember the Future of Jobs report by the World Economic Forum. What they have to say is that in the next 5 years, between now and 2030, 170 million jobs will be created, while 92 million jobs will disappear. Now you've decided to go for HR analytics. You want to, become a strategic HR partner, and you're worried, okay, if I get into this role, is there a demand for this role? Will my job just fizzle out? Will the company have to just replace me? Oh, sorry, we're cutting down on our staff and you have to go and all of that. Or I can still, there's a demand for this role majorly. So we'll get to see that now. So you see right here on my screen, there are two charts. To the right is, talking about the jobs that would decline in the coming years. To the left, you see the jobs that would continuously grow, and then just take a look at the HR analytics. It is part of it because organizational development specialist is one of the role under HR analytics. Now, one good thing with our training program here at Analytics is after you get equipped with the necessary skills that you need to get equipped with, you're not just solely looking for that job role. Say you take the HR analytics program, when you're applying for jobs, you're not just focused on only HR analytics roles. There are certain roles under HR analytics that you can also look out for, and the organizational development specialist is one of it. Then we have the training and development specialist, which is a role under HR analytics. You get so with training, it is just you identifying high performance in the company, low performance, and suggesting trainings that will be beneficial to them. So instead of just suggesting random training, oh, I feel like everybody should learn how to do sales, you get to analyze data to see the people that are performing the least, where they are literally lagging. What training will be most beneficial to them, and you recommend that to them. Okay, so right now, we've been able to see for a fact that the HR analytics role is one that will continuously grow. So this will mean that if you're looking to become an HR professional, there's a market for you, and your role will continuously be in demand. So this is the best time to literally get started in your journey. Remember here at Analytics, we don't care about your background. The way our curriculum is structured, which is something I will be showing you, you literally don't need to have a background in HR. All you need to do is just come as you are with your interests, and then we'll pick you up right from where you are to the point where you're confident enough to apply to jobs. So to become this HR professional that is in demand, what are the skills that you need to learn? What are the tools that you need to learn? So I'll just show you this on my screen. So if you take a look at my screen, you'll see the key learning areas. And the first thing you need to learn is problem solving. Now, remember that as a HR analyst, which is a strategic HR partner, you're there in the company to solve problems. Unfortunately, being a HR analyst just means that you are a data analyst that is focused on people data. that is who you are. And you being in that company means you're helping them solve problems. Now, as a HR analyst, there's a certain way you want to approach problems. And in approaching these problems, there are techniques, various techniques that you can use to solve these problems. That is the first thing you get to learn here at Analytics, how you can approach problems, the techniques that you can use in solving problems. Then after you learn that, you get to learn Excel. So right now you can see the facilitator using Power BI to build that interactive report. You get to learn how you can use Excel to do that. Excel is like the bread and butter of every HR analyst, every data analyst. With Excel, you're able to, build such appealing reports. But now Excel has its limitations. So imagine you have a large data set. The limit Excel can take is around it can go more than 30,000, but as soon as it gets to about 30,000 rows, it will start hanging drastically. Your analysis becomes annoying and slow. Now with Power BI, you're able to connect to multiple data sources. You're able to handle a large data set to take care of the limitations of Excel. You also do something called automation. Take for an example that just imagine that the reports that Mark built on this call was for last year. And we're about getting into 2026. And then, the company wants to also see how the average performance has increased, the department that is performing really good. So this is end of 2025, just imagine. And the company wants to see, okay, what happened in 2025? Does Mark have to, build another report from the scratch? No. So with Power BI, you're able to do something called automation so that the report you built just picks the data for 2025. Remember, the one you had was for 2024. So it picks the data for 2025 and is able to visualize the insights gotten from 2025. So you don't have to keep building a report. So after you learn Power BI, you also learn SQL, which is structured query language. So with SQL, you're able to connect to databases and speak the language of a database. Now, take note that from number 1 to number 4, these are the tools for a data analyst. But remember, that as a HR professional, you are a data analyst that is focused on people data. So you get to learn problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL just the way a data analyst will learn these skills. This will mean that don't worry, I would show you the jobs you are able to apply to. Maybe that would get you really, really excited because the HR analytics program, I like to consider it as 2 in 1. You're getting the skills of a data analyst, and then you're also getting the skills of a HR analyst. So tell me, are you thinking about the jobs that you can apply to? Data analyst jobs, HR analyst jobs. It just gives you the best of both worlds. So after you get to learn SQL, you get to learn HR analytics and performance evaluation. How can you track HR metrics? What are the metrics that you should track? The performance, the employee engagement, and all of that. So we teach you right from the very beginning. Afterwards, you get to learn HR analysis and dashboarding from the very scratch, how you can connect your data to Power BI or, import the data into Excel and start your data cleaning and all of that. That is something you get to learn. Then you also get to learn collaboration and report automation, as well as building your case and creating action. Then you learn ChatGPT for analytics. So with the emergence of AI, every tech professional needs to know how to embed AI into their workflow so that what they do is focus on the strategic stuff. As an HR analyst, you have to deal with a lot of functions and formulas. You don't have to worry about having them stored in your head. That is why you have AI there. It's a tool that you need to use to your advantage as a HR analyst. And that is something we'll teach you here at Analytics. Now, to the right of my screen, you see some tools and technologies you'll be using, Excel, SQL, Power BI. You'd also be using a HRIS called Orange HR. So that is something you get to learn how to use here at Analytics. Now, after you get to learn what is literally the learning duration here at analytics? How do you learn these skills? So the total learning duration is for 8 months. And in these 8 months, you have 6 months of live classes and 2 months of internship. So this will mean that you be in a live class for 6 months learning, working on projects and all of that. And then after you get to learn, you go into your internship for 2 months. Now, best believe that all of the key learning areas here in this on my screen, you're learning through project. Here at Analytics, we don't believe in just learning the technical terms, like just the theoretical terms, pardon me, or what is Excel, what is problem solving, what is HR analytics and performance evaluation. Nah, that's not how you learn. Come to think of it, in the real world, how a junior level staff is able to move to mid-level, it's just by the experience they've been able to gather over the years, the task that they've been able to, solve and all of that. And that is the approach we take when teaching you here at Analytics. You learn, by building experience. How do you build experience? It's just by working on projects, real world projects, real world case studies, so that you are able to get confident enough to apply to jobs. So that is how you learn here at Analytics, using projects. Bear in mind that whatever it is you leave this session with, just know that think Analytics, think project. You're not coming to learn theories at all. Now, in those 6 months of learning, we have something called the blended learning approach. We understand that a lot of the professionals that try to transition into tech, they have a job already, and then they're just looking to transition. They have a lot of responsibilities and all of that. You don't want to choke them with everyday learning. So what did we do? We decided to come up with a blended learning approach here at Analytics. So we have the instructor-led live class, and we also have the self-paced. So I'll talk more about this as we go, but bear in mind that it's a blended learning approach, very flexible for anybody, looking to transition into tech. Okay, so I said I was going to show you some jobs that you can apply to after learning those skills. You see those key learning areas after getting equipped with the technicalities, after working on project, after being able to build a portfolio. What are some roles that you can apply to? The first is some roles in data analytics. Remember that as an HR professional, you are a data analyst that is focused on people data, and then you're learning the skills of a data analyst. That would mean that you should be able to apply to data analytics role. Bear in mind. Then you have your normal HR analyst roles, people analyst, workforce planning analyst, talent analytics specialist, compensation analyst, benefit and reward analyst, talent analyst, HR operations analyst, diversity and inclusion analyst. Now, these are the roles and so much more, these are the roles that you are able to apply to after taking our training program. How good can it get? I mean, you're learning one thing. It's not like you're learning in school, learning to be, say, a computer scientist, and you're just focused on looking for roles related to computer science and all of that, or engineering, and you studied engineering and you're just focused on engineering roles. With this, you're able to see some roles that you can apply to, and then it just gives you some spice. So when you're taking it, if you figure that, oh, this HR analyst role, I think I'm not really getting good feedback, you can take a look at compensation analyst, because we've been able to equip you with the necessary skills that you need. Now, just getting the skills is wouldn't do the job alone. I want to believe that for everybody on this call, your goal is either to upskill in your current role as a HR professional or transition into being a HR professional. And I'm here to tell you that you see the key learning areas I mentioned to you, just learning them is not enough to get you the job. Okay, so what we've been able to do is put in some strategies in place that have worked over the years. In August, we'll be in operation for 5 years, and these strategies have been working for us here at Tenalytics. So I'll basically talk you through them. The first thing you need to do, like I've just told you, is to learn. All right, so you're learning an in-demand career, which is the HR analytics career path, and you've seen the skills that you need to learn. What you want to do while learning is focus. A lot of people get into the habit of, oh, I'm learning to become an HR analyst, but the next day you see your friend becoming a financial analyst and you think, oh, that's the one in demand right now in the UK. That's the one I want to learn. That isn't going to get you anywhere. You're going to get into the loop of constant learning because bear in mind that the world is constantly evolving. But bear in mind that so long as you know that what you're learning will be in demand, and you can easily get a job, then just stay focused on it. So this is the first strategy we're able to, get our participants to plug into. The first is stay focused on what you're learning, and that is the HR analytics as it is now. The second is position properly. It is not enough to learn. Too many people learn without positioning. So for positioning, we believe here at Analytics that to get a job, you would need the technical skills, the Excel, the Power BI, the SQL, and all of that. You need the technical skills and the employability skills. So to get a job, it is 50% technical, 50% employability. So whilst you're learning, in your 6 months while you're learning, what we've been able to do is equip you with employability skills. And the first of them is CV revamp. Okay, so now with this CV revamp, what we've been able to do is 2 months into the training program, we provide you with a standard HR analytics CV format that beats the applicant tracking system any day, anytime. So we provide you with this, and what we encourage our participants to do is to ensure that on their CV, they have Tenalytics as their work experience. Because through this, you're gaining experience, like I told you. After learning all those, after going through all those key learning areas, you'll be able to build over 10 plus projects and then have them in a portfolio. That is experience, okay? So on your CV, you have that you are working with Tenalytics as a HR analytics consultant or a contractor. So that way, we're able to provide you with reference letters when the need arises. Okay, so we are able to, whilst you have on your CV that you're working for Teralytics as a contractor or a consultant, what we do is to provide you with a job description that summarizes all the projects you'll be working on here at Analytics, so you can have that in your CV. So once you're done structuring your CV according to that standard format, you send it back to us and we take a look at it. We just take a look at it. Our experts are able to take a look at it and provide you with individualized feedback. So if they figure that, I think Ayomide has been really responsive in the chat. So if they figure that, oh, Ayomide, as soon as you turned in your CV, your professional summary, this is how you can best have it. Your work experience, your educational, the educational section in your CV, you can just put it this way to, attract recruiters the most. So they give you that sort of feedback that is individualized, and all you need to do is just implement the feedback, okay? And you are good to go. Now, remember that you see the roles I told you that you'll be able to apply to. One thing we believe here at Analytics is you cannot use the same CV you want to use to apply for a compensation analyst role. That should not be the same CV that you're using to apply to a benefit analyst role or something. Every CV, every job description has keywords that are peculiar, and those keywords are what the applicant tracking system will be fishing out for. So you need to ensure that your CV is carrying that particular keyword. And what we do is to, teach you how you can tailor your CV to suit every job application that you're making. So after we've been able to achieve this with CV revamp, we go to LinkedIn optimization. So with LinkedIn optimization, what we do is a lot of our participants, have recruiters reaching out to them on LinkedIn because their LinkedIn profiles are properly optimized. As a HR analyst, there are certain keywords that you should have on your LinkedIn profile. There are certain posts you want to make. You want to build your personal brand on LinkedIn. What we're able to achieve with this is teach you how to properly, have your LinkedIn profile structured, teach you how you can include a link to your portfolio on LinkedIn. Remember that your portfolio is just a showroom. It showcases the projects you have worked on here at Analytics. So you told a recruiter that you know how to analyze HR metrics, right? And then when they go on your portfolio, they want to see projects that, tells of the fact that you've been able to analyze HR metrics. So you have your portfolio on your LinkedIn profile. You also have Tenalytics as your work experience on your LinkedIn profile, such that as a recruiter looks through, they've seen what they need to see. They've seen your work experience, your CV is embedded in your LinkedIn profile. They've seen your portfolio and all of that. They've also seen Tenalytics right there on your LinkedIn profile. So at the point when they're reaching out to you, it is based on, okay, when is the most convenient time for you to talk? I like what I see on your profile. That is how a couple of our participants have been able to get jobs. Then your LinkedIn optimization, I also talked about portfolio. You need, as a HR professional, a strategic HR partner, there's no way you're doing applications without a portfolio, because it is with portfolio that recruiters are able to see the experience that you have, the case studies you've worked on, the projects you have worked on. So we emphasize here on Tenalytics that our participants, every single one of our participants, need to have a portfolio at the point of application. And what do you put in your portfolio? It is those projects that you have worked on, your capstone project, all the projects you have worked on while you're learning. Remember, it is not a theoretical approach to learning. It is a case study based, a practical based approach to learning. So afterwards, we have what is called mentorship. So with these mentorship, you have access to, global recruiters, people that have walked the talk, people that have gotten jobs. They come on a weekly basis and then they are able to mentor you. How can you position properly? How can you negotiate for salaries and all of that? All right, so this is what you get, weekly mentorship. Then you have interview preparation. So at this point, if you're looking to say you've put out an application and you have an interview coming up, it is your first time trying to get an interview as an HR professional, or even whilst you're upskilling for a better role, you have an interview coming up. What you need to do is just book for a session, book for an interview preparation session, and our global experts are able to take a look through the CV that you used in applying. They also take a look at the job description. They do their research on the company. This way, they are able to preempt the questions that you are likely to get, and they prep you in the best way possible so that you ace the interview. Okay. Now, afterwards, job reference letter, it is something we're able to provide, to ensure that we write something compelling. We're able to vouch for you so that you land your desired role. We also have on-the-job support. So you get a job, it's your first time as an HR professional, you get a job, and then you come across the task, you were asked to, analyze some setting metrics, and you don't know what to do. Now, a lot of our participants don't usually come back for this because, it is 6 months of immersive learning, but we still have this available just in case you have any task that seem Herculean. All you need to do is just, reach back to us and we're able to provide you with support. After you've been able to get equipped with these employability skills, the next thing you want to do is apply like a machine, but with precision. You want to ensure that your CV is properly tailored. Like I said, never reuse a CV. The same CV you used to apply for role A, that is not the same CV you should be using to apply to role B. You have to ensure that your CV carries the necessary keywords that you have in the job description. Then you also need to make at least 10 quality applications per day. It is tech, and it doesn't mean that, oh, the role is going to come easy. So just with the snap of your finger, the role is going to come. No, you have to be strategic. All what you need to do is just plug into the analytics strategy and you'll be able to excel. Okay, now you also need to tap into paid and hidden job market. So what we've been able to do with this is, apart from the fact that you have access to, your traditional job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, and all of that, what we've done for you is to subscribe to premium job boards across the major economies, such that on a weekly basis, we provide you with these job roles, and all what you need to do is just come on the platform where you have these roles and apply. It's just as simple as it gets. Come on the platform and do your application. So all of this put in place, there's no way you're not getting a job as a HR professional. Okay, so like I told you, you get to learn in a project-based environment. With this project-based environment, you have your self-paced and your instructor-led class. Okay, so with the self-paced, you choose the time. You get to learn at your convenience, anytime, anywhere. And then just to shed more light on the live instructor led class, what we do is to ensure that out of 4 Saturdays in a month, you get to be in a live class for 2 out of those 4 Saturdays. We understand that responsibilities can be a lot for our participants sometimes. That is why we've ensured that out of 4 Saturdays in a month, you're in a live class for 2 out of those 4 Saturdays. The other Saturdays are for question and answer. So in these sessions, we have the morning and the evening session. So in morning, you learn from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we have the evening where you get to learn from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. If you're in the UK, you're advised to go for 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in US, North America, Canada, you're advised to go for the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. session. Okay. Now you get to choose the one that works for you. You don't have to be in both. So you choose either morning or evening, either 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So this is how you learn in the instructor-led class. You get to learn for 3 hours, and then whilst you're learning, you're working on project. Remember, you're not coming to do theories here at Analytics. You're getting hands-on. Okay, that is our approach, our strategy to learning. So this is how the live instructor-led class is structured. Then you have the self-paced. If you're only coming to class 2 Saturdays in a month, in 6 months, that will be a total of 12 live classes. That is not enough to get you where you need to be. Okay, that is why we've also incorporated the self-paced. Like I said, with this self-paced, you get to learn at your convenience, anytime, anywhere. So from Sunday through to Friday, if you figure that, oh, I learn better at night, I'm working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then I want to rest, I learn better at night. Just pick up your system around 12 to 2 a.m. at night, you have some time. Go through your LMS. So we have an LMS platform that houses a lot more project and a lot more resources for you to work on. So that is all you need to do. 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. at night, come on the platform, learn, work on projects. You can do that on Sunday, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But rest assured that every week there's a project for you to work on. There's something for you to build. And this is how you get to learn. There's no way you get to learn in this face that you're not going to get equipped with the necessary skills that you need to get equipped with. Now, just to give you an insight into positioning, okay, so with positioning, the end goal is to ensure that you are able to get access to employability and then build a portfolio. So I've left links to portfolio here. In your free time when you have access to the slide, you can take a look at these portfolio to see, how your portfolio will look like through our training program here at Tenalytics. Okay, so this is just to further buttress on the fact that you get to learn for 6 months, and then your internship. Guess who you'll be doing your internship with? Another company called Amdari. Okay, so Amdari is a consulting firm, and we've decided that, okay, your internship, you're doing it with another company. Guess what this gives to you? On your CV, you'll be able to have Tenalytics and Amdari as your work experience. For those of us in the UK looking for UK experience, Amdari is registered in the UK. So if a recruiter wants you to have UK-based experience, you have that already on your CV. Tenalytics is registered in Canada, and we're also accredited by the American Council of Training and Development. So anybody that is telling you, oh, you need this work experience, you already have it with Tenalytics and Amdari. So you have the unique opportunity of including Tenalytics and Amdari on your CV and LinkedIn. This way you get UK and Canadian work experience. How interesting can it get, really? Then this is just to buttress on, your application. You want to ensure that, like I said, 10 quality applications per day. Your application is properly structured to suit the job you're applying for, and you don't want to reuse a CV. Okay, now Like I said, what we've been able to do is subscribe to premium job boards, and this is just a snippet of what it looks like. So you can see visa sponsorship role. Just take a look at the snapshot of the spreadsheet here. You'd see visa sponsorship role. This is for data analyst. And then you have same for HR analyst as well. Visa sponsorship role across UK, US, Canada, Nigeria, right? And you have access to these premium roles that all you need to do is just on a Monday access the platforms where they are stored and apply. That's all you need to do, right? And you'll be good to go. Then this is just to show you some of the topics that we take in our mentorship sessions. Okay, if you can see this, we basically teach you the key strategies to applying and how you can get a job. Okay, and then you have a day in the life of a data analyst. So at this point, an alumni that has gotten a job from the HR analytics program is able to, come on live sessions like this and talk you through the do's and don'ts. You also get to learn things like the importance of building in public, and you get encouragement on how you shouldn't wait till you meet all the criteria before applying to a job. If you fit into the criteria of any single role, all the criteria of the single role, that means that role is not for you. Okay, so here at Analytics, like I said, you get access to weekly mentorship sessions. All right. On how you can navigate the job market, how you can utilize AI for your job applications as well. Now, just to show you some success stories over the years. So this success story currently is from somebody called Joy Ikota. Okay, so Joy took our training program sometime last year and she was able to get a job. So at this point, just if you can see my screen, you'd see good morning, Adeza. Adeza is the founder of Tenalytics. I bring good news. I've been given a position as a HR analyst with the region of Peel here in Ontario, Canada. So this just shows you that the HR analytics program is something you can get a job with. Okay. So she at this point she was requesting for reference details so that she can send to the company. And at the end of the day, they get a request for a letter and we provide that as well. Okay. So in the second screenshot, you see, thank you so much. I received my offer this afternoon. Okay, so this is just from one person that got a job as a HR analyst after taking our training program. We have Amaka here as well. Amaka took our training program, in July of 2024, and she was able to get a job in December. She secured a job as a HR data analyst. Remember when I told you some roles that you're able to apply for? You're not just looking for strictly HR analyst role. This person got a job as a HR data analyst. Really, really interesting. So right here is a link to Amaka's testimonial. When you have some time, please ensure you fill the feedback form so that when you have some time, you can easily just go through our testimonial, okay, so that you get to see for yourself. I also left a screenshot here. So at this point, she was telling me that she has an interview coming up, and all what we needed to do is just fix her up with a professional, that took the interview prep session. And then you see when she told me that she got the job. Okay, so such beautiful, beautiful story that you can be a part. We have Sonia here as well. Sonia was able to land a HR analyst role in the UK immediately after a master's with the help of Tenalytics. So we have tons and tons of people like this. Okay, I would have loved to play their, testimonials for you, but I left the link here so that you can take some time to go through. So please do well to fill the attendance form. So seeing the strategies that we employ here at Analytics, the key learning areas on how you can become a HR analyst, and the roles you can apply to, what we're able to, the length we're able to go to ensure that you get a job. How then can you get started today? So you on this call, literally listening to me, looking to upskill, aspiring to transition into HR analytics, how can you get started today? Guess what? We have a cohort coming up on the 9th of August. Okay, so if you're looking to start that journey, 9th of August is for you. So our next cohort is starting on the 9th of August. And to start this training, Guess how much you need? If you're in the US, you only need 150 US dollars. If you're in the UK, you only need 123 pounds. Okay. If you're in Nigeria, you only need 255,000 naira to get started as a HR analyst. Now, the total price of the training program in US dollars, access to employability, access to all the learning resources, lifetime access to Analytics, as a matter of fact. We have people from way back 2022 that come back to ask for interview prep, reference letters and all of that. So you see that it's a lifetime access. The cost of all of this is the full amount is 900 US dollars. But because you're on this call, we have a discount for you. So instead of 900 US dollars, you get to pay 750 US dollars. That's a 20% discount, a whooping 20% discount. And like I said, you don't have to pay the large chunk. Don't worry about that. Okay. Don't worry about paying the large chunk. We've ensured some flexibility around our payment plans. So we have monthly payments plans for you. If you're looking to join our next cohort in August, on the 9th of August, like I said, we've got monthly payments plans for you. And I would literally walk you through how you can go about making payment. Okay, so right there on the call, my colleague has sent a link to the payment platform, and let me show you how you can literally make payment. So as soon as you click on that payment link, right, as soon as you click on the payment link that my colleague is sharing, it brings you here, Analytics Enrollment Center. Okay, so like I said, we offer 8 different training programs, okay, depending on the one you're interested in. But our focus for today is HR analytics. So if you're looking to go for the HR analytics program, just scroll down, and look for register for HR analytics. Okay, just tap on this, register for HR analytics. And then as soon as you click on that, this payment platform opens up to you. One good thing I like about this payments platform is that there's a currency selector here. Okay, so if you're in UK, if you're in Asia, Italy, anywhere, you can pay in your currency. You don't need to bother about, oh, how do I convert to US dollars and whatnot. So for people in the UK, I've opened up this currency selector for you so that you get to see right there on the link. You can also choose the currency of your current location. So like I said, we have a discount ongoing. But the catch is this discount is not open to everybody. It is only open to 20 people that are looking to take our HR analytics program. And if you look at my screen, you see that we have 19 seats available. Okay, you see 19 seats available. So this would mean that one person has been able to take advantage. They've come to the good side, and we have 19 seats available. So yourself, you also want to think about securing a discounted slot right before it gets filled. Remember that the next cohort begins on the 9th of August. Now, to take a look at the payment plans, like I said, we have 5 monthly payments, 4, 3, 2, 1. The equivalent of 750 US dollars is 615 pounds. And to get started using the 5 monthly payment, you only need to secure a slot with 123 pounds. That is all you need to secure a discounted slot. With the 4 monthly payment, you need to secure a discounted slot with 153 pounds 75. Okay, if you're looking to go for 3 monthly payments as well, you decide to do that, and all what you need to get started is 205 pounds. Now, if you're looking to pay twice or once, there's a further discount. So instead of 615 pounds, you get an extra discount and you get to pay 575 pounds. So if you want to pay twice or once, all what you need to do is just click on the payments plan that you want to go for and click on secure your seat. So you see a breakdown, and what you want to do is click on proceed. So at this point, you put in your checkout details, you put in your card details, and you're good to go. A receipt will be sent to you via email. All right. And as soon as that receipt is sent, what I want you to do is just take a snapshot of it using your laptop, using your phone. Take a snapshot of it and come back on this enrollment center and complete your registration. To complete your registration, all you need to do is just scroll down and look for upload your receipt here. So at this point, you're clicking on upload your receipt here, and then it opens up a form for you. Okay, so you need this form to register. At this point, if you want to change your name, the name you used for registration, if you want to change your email address and all of that, you get to do that at this point. Okay, so now this is what the form looks like. What you want to do is just check in the details and click on next. Okay, put the checkbox, click on next, choose your type of payment. If you're starting with £123 and all of that, just click on initial payment, which is your first installment. But if you made a full payment, that's also good. You can click on full payment, right? Then you click on next. Okay. So at this point, you get notified of our terms and conditions, and you can go through them for your benefit, right? Then you also click on next after checking the yes box. And at this point, you get to choose the 8 month plan, click on yes, then click on next. Remember that I'm just walking you through how you can fill up the registration form. So you put in your first name, your last name, your registration email. And if you want to change your email, if you want to update your email preference, because some of you are on our marketing list. If you don't want to receive updates about the marketing classes that we have anymore, at this point, this is where you get to put in your email address so you get taken out of the marketing list after you register for the training program, right? Then you also fill in your gender details, male, female, right? You get to pick any of those. Then you also get to check the box that says I've read the Tanalytics terms and conditions. And then at this point, you see, different contact details that you can reach out to. So if you have any issues, any inquiries, these are phone numbers of my colleagues that you can just easily reach out to. Then you click on next, okay? So at this point, you just put in the payment details when you made payment. And remember that screenshot you took at the point where you made payment and they sent a receipt via email. So at this point, you get to upload that receipt and you get to choose your mode of payment. Then click on next, okay? Then you get to provide the name of the account from which the payment was initiated. Click on next, and then this is where you get to pick the HR analytics program. So at this point, you are required to pick in one training program that you made payment for. So if you're still undecided, oh, should I go for HR analytics? Should I go for data analytics and all of that? You can just
Priscilla?
choose. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see the main stack page. We are seeing the money page.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
main
give me a
stack.
minute to reshare this. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. Okay. Just let me know when you can see it. Can you see it at this point?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. So I was talking about, filling up your program details at this point, okay? So the process is really, really simple, all right? From this point where you get to click on the link that was sent in the chat and you get to choose register for HR Analytics by scrolling down and looking for HR Analytics program to seeing the payments breakdown, okay? So at this point, I'm just going to show it again for everyone to see it. So at this point, you get to, take a look at the payment plans that we have, just like I've said it. We have the 5 monthly payments, we have the 4 monthly payments, the 3, 2, or a one-time payment, okay? So at this point, you get to see the payments breakdown. If you want to go for the 5 monthly payments, 4 monthly payment, depending on you, just click on the one you want to go for and go ahead to, make payments. So you get a receipt via email. What you want to do is just fill up the registration form. And then when you get to this point where asked, pick the program you're going for. If you figure that you still need to speak to a professional so they understand your background and then they can tell you categorically that, oh, go for HR, go for data analytics and all of that, just pick, I need to speak to a professional, and then you click on next, okay? If you're sure on the HR analytics program, pick HR analytics, click on next. So at this point, you get to just choose the cohorts that you want to register for, which is the August cohort, put in your phone number, your country of residence, and then click on next, okay? So after you've been able to fill up these details, you can also then submit the form, okay? So you just submit the form. So this is pretty much what it takes to register with Tenalytics, okay? You need, if you're in the UK, you need only £123 to get started, right? If you're in the US, you need $150 to get started, and you get a further, an exclusive bonus, okay? That is only open to people going for the August cohort, right? So you get access to 250 plus guided projects to practice as an HR analyst, and then you get your CV reviewed to tailor your goals. Now, this bonus ends in 48 hours. This will mean that you need to secure a discounted slot, and so you can plug into this bonus. So this is pretty much every detail you need to know to get started as a HR professional. So at this point, if you have a question, this is where I take your question at this point, okay? So please, if you have a question, use the raise hand icon, so that I'm able to take your question. Or if you want to just leave a message in the chat, asking your question, then I'll take it up from there. I'm just going to, try to mention everybody on the call to see if you've been following so far. If you've enjoyed the session so far, please leave a 1 in the chat. So I think I've got Atinuke, I've got Ayomide, Chigozie, Confidence, I've got Daniel, Gladys, Juliet, Kabir, Lalas, M.O., Mark, Ola Bob, Olawumi, Sheun, Sheyi, Tosin, Toyin. If you've had a good time so far, if the session has been impactful and you're looking to, get registered, please leave a 1 in the chat. Okay, I think I can see one question. Kabir is asking how much in Canadian dollars. So I'm just going to show you that ASAP, okay? So like I said, the payment platform as a currency selector, what you want to pick is CAD, Canadian dollars. So the total fee, in Canadian dollars is 1,100 Canadian dollars. And what you need to get started is just 220 CAD. That is if you're going for the 5 monthly payments plan. If you're going for 4 monthly payments, what you need is 275 CAD, right? And remember that if you're paying twice or once, there's a further discount. So instead of 1,100 CAD, you get to pay 1,015 CAD. Okay, so Ola is saying, I need to speak to someone for an advice. Please just go ahead to book a clarity session so that we have you with a professional that will take a look at your background and we get to decide which tech training program suits you. But while you're doing that, remember that the discount is slot-based. It is not time-bound. So you can secure a discounted slot, and speak to a professional, and then you get put into the class that you want to be in. So if you've got further questions, please leave them in the chat so that I can take your question. Or if you want to speak, just use the raise hand icon so that I ask you to unmute and I can take your questions, okay? But if at this point, there are no further questions from me, I'll urge you to book a clarity session if you have some pending questions or some burning questions to ask, or if you want to make payment, just go ahead, click on the link right there in the chat and you're good to go. But literally, this is where we come to the end of today's session if you don't have further questions for me. Okay, so thank you so much for joining in. I'm still here. If you've got further questions, just let me know, indicate, raise your hand, or just leave the question in the chat so that I take your questions, okay? But if at this point you don't have any more questions for me, this is where we get to call it a day, okay? So I hope to see you come August, okay? Because that is when our next class will be starting, and I hope that you are able to secure a discounted slot. All right, so thank you so much for your time. Thank you for spending some time with me. Please enjoy the rest of your day and have a good time. Go ahead to book a clarity call if you're still unsure. If you want to make payments, please go ahead to do so. Just ensure you're filling up the registration form after making payment, right? If you also want to reach out to any colleague of mine, right there in the slide, the slide where you have the payment details, you'd see telephone number, WhatsApp numbers. You can easily reach out so that we get to take your questions, okay? So this is where we call it a day. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure speaking to everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers and bye for now. Thank you, everybody.